Screen title: George Brown College. Educational Resources presents Why Captioned Media. This video is in American Sign Language and includes the accessibility features of open captions and described video. A male in his early 20s sits in an empty classroom looking at a PDA. He wears a gray George Brown College hoodie sweatshirt. He looks up as if to notice us and begins signing. He looks quizzical. He smiles sheepishly. Now he understands. A voiceover translates what he is signing.
Better? Let me start again. My name is Bud, and I'm an architect student at the Casa Loma campus. And I'm deaf. I bet that was a bit frustrating at the beginning with no sound or no captions, eh? That's what it feels like when I'm in a class and a professor shows a film with no captions. This is a barrier that many deaf students face at George Brown.
He gets up and walks towards the door.
True, I have a sign language interpreter in the class, but when I'm watching a film and the interpreter is signing it, my eyes can't take in both the interpreter and the film. And it's like watching a film where all the actors are speaking in the same voice with no pause between lines.
He leaves.
It's the captions on the screen that bring it together.
He walks down the hall.
Here at George Brown, showing films with captions is policy, captioned media policy. And it's your responsibility as a professor to ensure the accommodations that I need as a deaf student happen. Captions help me to access my education. And if you didn't know, it's good for deaf and hearing students.
He stops in front of a classroom.
This is one of my classrooms. It's big. Sometimes some of the students sit at the back of the room and chat while the class is going on. The chatter doesn't bother me. I'm deaf. But my hearing friends tell me it can get a bit noisy. They want to learn what the professor is teaching but can't always hear. Recently, my professor showed a film and boom, captions.
He walks.
My hearing friend was like, "This is great. I can see what it's about. It doesn't matter about the chatter." I said, "Dude, where do you think captions are used the most in North America? Sports bars, right?"
The computer room.
I have hearing friends at George Brown from all over the world, some of whom have English as a second language. They tell me the captioning helps them to understand what's going on, helps their comprehension, and cues their memory. This helps them to remember important things from the film that might be on the exam. They like being in a class with me. They know the professor must only show films with captions because I'm in the class.
He sits.
Same goes with the GBTV webcasts that launched this year in May. A few of my deaf friends who were thinking about taking a course at George Brown liked how the webcasts include real-time captioning. They got the total package of information from the website about what the college has to offer. They were like, "Hey, George Brown wants me. Let's watch."
He sits down at a computer. It's logged onto the internet. He looks at the George Brown website. He shows a video clip from GBTV Minute. It has closed captioning. He turns to us and points to the computer.
Looks fine. Hey, professors, don't forget about your video clips on Blackboard or WebCT. They need to be captioned too. Catherine Payne added captions to her online labor history course with the help of Liad at very little cost to her program. As a department, you need to make sure you budget for the captioning of your department's educational, informational, and promotional media. Any audiovisual production you make, even when you outsource the work, must have a master tape with captions. You might think that adding captions to your video is expensive, but the captioning on this Yes Chef video on the George Brown website only cost a little over $200. In the grand scheme of things, that's not terribly expensive. Here, let me show you.
He turns back to the computer. He starts a video clip. Screen title: George Brown Chef School. A logo appears. Yes, Chef. The show begins with closed captioning.
The food hospitality industry in Canada.
Bud stops the
is
video.
vibrant
He
and
turns to
growing.
us and continues signing.
There, see? The libraries have many videos that are already captioned. And if you want to show a film that is in the library collection and it's not captioned, just ask the accessible media coordinator in the library to caption it for you. It's college policy. And soon it will be required under Ontario government legislation, the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act.
He gets up to leave.
If you find an interesting video clip on the internet and have permission to use it and caption it, Liad can put you in touch with someone who can add the captions for you. And now, there are website resources like .sub.com that contain thousands of captioned videos that are free to be used by anyone.
He starts to leave the classroom. He stops and turns as he holds up a finger.
Oh, it's important to remember, if you make your own videos, There are tips to making your video accessible. For example, there is enough space at the bottom of this screen so that my signing is totally visible and the captions don't cover up my hands. You can see in this short video clip some examples of what makes accessible media accessible. For example, this video is in ASL with English voiceover and captions, and has video description for people who are blind or have low vision. You can find the Captioned Media and e-text policy by selecting Policies from the George Brown homepage, or contact the Accessible Media Coordinator in Educational Resources to ask more about what you have learned in this video today.
He takes his PDA from his pocket and looks at it.
Gotta go, I have a date. I mean, a test to write.
End credits. Bud, Michael T. Sear, BFA. Narrator, Ben Hudson, GBC student. Script and executive producer, Karen Walker, GBC AODA committee. Camera, Jason Tirio. Camera assistant, Maddie Metzala, GBC student. Post-production audio, Herb Tirio, BFA. This film would not have been possible without the support of the following: Diversity, Equity, and Human Rights Services Office, Intentional Learning Grants Initiative Diversity, Equity and Human Rights Services, VP Corporate Services, Eugene Harrigan, and the AODA Committee of GBC. The George Brown Captioned Media and e-text Policy and Project is an initiative of the AODA Committee and is administered by Educational Resources. For more information about the policy and how you can make your course materials accessible, please contact Ann Villahermosa, Accessible Media Coordinator, Educational Resources. George Brown College, make it happen.